Pennsylvania is a state where history runs deep, and sometimes so do the shadows. Beneath the quiet pavement of its backroads and highways, stories linger, stories of tragedy, violence, and restless spirits that refuse to stay buried. Travelers have reported headlights catching figures in the distance that vanish when approached, cold hands brushing against their arms, and whispers carried by the wind that call out names no one should know. Some roads are abandoned, left to the fog and the night, yet they are far from empty. Smoke rises from unseen fires, apparitions stand silently in the trees, and the cries of children lost too soon echo through the night. Other highways are still in use, but drivers swear that certain stretches become dangerous for reasons no one can explain, accidents happening in the blink of an eye, vehicles skidding around corners where no ice or debris exists. Tonight, we will travel 15 of Pennsylvania's most haunted roads and highways. Each mile holds a story, each turn carries a warning. From shadowy figures who appear at the last moment, to cursed curves and forgotten paths, these roads are more than routes from one town to another. They are corridors of fear, of the unseen, and of the unexplainable. So, keep your eyes on the road, but be aware. Some of what you see may not belong to the living. The stories you are about to hear are true accounts, drawn from local legends, eyewitness encounters, and centuries of dark history. And if you are brave enough to continue, you may soon discover that in Pennsylvania, some roads should never be traveled alone after dark or at all. Tonight, the journey begins and there is no turning back. Number 1 Haunted Road, Spook Hollow Road, Clearfield County. In the heart of Clearfield County, Spook Hollow Road winds through dense, shadowed forests where sunlight barely reaches the ground. Locals rarely travel it after dark, and those who do often speak of experiences that leave them shaken for weeks, even months. The road seems ordinary at first glance, just another rural path stretching between the trees. But step onto it at night, and the forest comes alive with sounds and shadows that defy explanation. Travelers tell of low, guttural growls echoing from the trees, as though something unseen stalks along the roadside, pacing those who pass. Headlights occasionally catch fleeting figures standing in the woods, only to vanish the moment you try to look directly at them. Some describe glowing orbs drifting above the ground or peeking through the thick underbrush, moving with intelligence, almost beckoning the curious forward. Phantom footsteps are another hallmark of this haunted stretch. Drivers report hearing the crunch of leaves behind them, matching their speed, then stopping abruptly. Occasionally, the sound seems to surround the vehicle, coming from every direction at once, creating the unnerving sensation that the road itself is closing in. The history of Spook Hollow Road adds to its chilling reputation. The area has long been associated with unexplained disappearances, local legends of lost hunters, and tales of travelers who vanished into the woods, never to be seen again. Paranormal investigators have noted that electronic devices fail unpredictably along the route, and some cameras capture faint, shadowy figures that vanish upon inspection. There are even stories of drivers seeing spectral people standing in the middle of the road, their faces pale and emotionless, silently staring until the car passes, leaving a lingering feeling of dread long after. The combination of natural darkness, twisted trees, and unexplained phenomena has made Spook Hollow Road one of Pennsylvania's most feared haunted roads. Travelers leave this stretch with an indelible sense of unease, a reminder that some roads are not meant to be walked at night, and that the forest itself may harbor eyes that never close. And while Spook Hollow Road chills with unseen footsteps and glowing eyes, the next road carries a different kind of terror, a legend that has lingered for centuries and has left countless travelers uneasy after dark. Number 2, Devil's Elbow Road, Lycoming County. Devil's Elbow Road in Lycoming County has earned a fearsome reputation over generations. Named for its treacherous sharp curve, the road is not only dangerous for drivers but also infamous for unexplained encounters that have left locals terrified. Those who travel it after dark report more than just narrow bends and twisted pavement. They speak of a presence that seems to watch, follow, and sometimes appear without warning. The most well-known legend tied to this road is the Lady in White. Eyewitnesses describe her as a tall, ethereal figure, clothed in flowing white, standing silently at the edge of the road or walking along the shoulder. Drivers who have stopped to look often find her gone, leaving behind only a chilling cold that seeps into their bones. Some have even claimed she appears suddenly in the middle of the road, forcing panicked maneuvers to avoid her, only for the road to be empty moments later. In addition to the Lady in White, Devil's Elbow Road is notorious for sudden apparitions that appear and vanish with no pattern. Shadowy figures emerge from the dense forest, sometimes mimicking the movements of cars or pedestrians. Some travelers report seeing spectral horse-drawn carriages or hearing the faint sound of horses' hooves pounding against the asphalt, echoing through the night with no source in sight. The history of this road only adds to its unnerving aura. Tragic accidents have occurred at the sharp curve for over a century, and many believe that the spirits of those lost still linger, bound to the site of their sudden deaths. Others claim to hear faint cries, whispers, and even the echo of an unseen carriage racing past in the silence of night. Paranormal investigators have captured evidence of cold spots, mysterious mist, and photographic anomalies that appear as fleeting figures along the roadside. Every account seems to reinforce the sense that Devil's Elbow is not just a dangerous curve, it is a threshold between the living and the restless dead. Travelers leave this road with a heightened awareness, often glancing nervously into the shadows, feeling the sensation of being observed. Devil's Elbow Road serves as a chilling reminder that some corners are more than they appear, and that certain curves in Pennsylvania are best avoided when darkness falls. And while Devil's Elbow Road terrifies with sudden apparitions and the lady in white, the next road in our journey carries a lingering, unnatural heat beneath the surface, a place abandoned yet strangely alive, where the past refuses to let go. Number 3. Centralia Highway, Columbia County. Centralia Highway winds through what was once a bustling coal town, now reduced to smoke, ash, and eerily empty streets. Beneath the cracked pavement, a mine fire has been burning since 1962, swallowing the town and forcing its residents to abandon their homes. The highway that remains is no ordinary road, its surface still glows in places, and wisps of smoke curl from cracks in the ground, forming shapes that appear almost human in the darkness. Travelers report that moving along this abandoned stretch, it's impossible to shake the feeling that someone or something is watching. Shadowy figures are often seen drifting through the smoke, disappearing when approached, leaving only a faint scent of soot and a lingering chill in the air. Some witnesses describe fleeting silhouettes of miners, faces gaunt, their eyes hollow, walking silently along the edges of the highway, as if trapped forever by the inferno beneath. The highway itself seems unstable, almost alive. Drivers speak of sudden dips, uneven asphalt, and sections that feel unnaturally hot underfoot, though no recent fire should be present. Faint echoes of past tragedies ripple through the air, explosions, screams, and the clinking of pickaxes on coal blending with the wind to create an auditory hallucination that makes it impossible to ignore the road's dark history. Paranormal investigators have captured strange mist that behaves oddly, hovering in shapes resembling human forms. Electronic devices often fail inexplicably along the stretch, and some have reported cold drafts that contrast sharply with the heat rising from the mine. Those who linger too long sometimes feel an oppressive weight, as though the earth itself is pressing down, warning intruders to leave. Centralia Highway is more than abandoned asphalt. It is a liminal space where the living brush against the remnants of the past, a place where fire and shadow combine to keep the restless forever trapped. Drivers rarely take this road at night, and those who do often recount experiences that leave them questioning reality itself. Centralia may terrify with its burning earth and smoky phantoms, but the next road carries legends of smaller, yet no less eerie hauntings, places where the unseen lingers closer to the asphalt, waiting for the unwary to pass. Number 4. Pine-Loganton Road, Clinton County. In the rural stretches of Clinton County, Pine-Loganton Road winds quietly through dense forests and open fields, appearing peaceful by day, but under the cover of night, it becomes a corridor of inexplicable terror. Locals rarely drive this road after dark, and those who do tell stories that are equal parts eerie and unnerving. The legends here are unusual yet persistent. Travelers have reported witnessing a strange phenomenon inside one abandoned home along the road, a dancing cupboard, said to move on its own as though guided by invisible hands. Objects inside have been known to rearrange themselves, dishes clattering to the floor for no reason, doors opening and closing without explanation. Many believe the house is a portal to restless spirits, drawing its energy directly from the road outside. Cold spots are another hallmark of Pine-Loganton Road. Even on warm summer nights, drivers feel sudden chills that seem to follow their car, lingering in certain stretches of the road where shadows press against the windows. Some claim that these cold areas are accompanied by whispers, soft, unintelligible murmurs that rise and fall like a conversation just beyond comprehension. Several witnesses have reported seeing figures in the periphery of their headlights. Some appear to be children standing silently at the roadside, while others take on humanoid shapes that vanish when approached. The combination of darkness, isolated surroundings, and these apparitions creates a sense that the road itself is alive, observing and interacting with those who dare to travel it. Paranormal researchers visiting Pine Loganton Road have captured anomalous readings on thermometers and electromagnetic devices. Faint orbs appear in photographs, and some video footage shows what looks like shadowy shapes moving across the car's path. It is as if the road carries an energy from past tragedies, lingering in the air, refusing to let passers-by leave unchanged. For those who traverse Pine Loganton Road at night, it is not merely a drive, it is a test of courage, an encounter with the unknown that challenges perception and sanity alike. Every turn, every shadow, every gust of wind seems imbued with intent, a quiet reminder that some roads harbor secrets that never rest. Pine Loganton Road chills with cold spots and dancing shadows, but the next road we approach carries a mist that can consume your headlights and legends that have haunted travelers for decades, testing your nerves at every bend. Number 5. Wrecks-Covered Bridge Road, North Whitehall Township. Wrecks-Covered Bridge Road in North Whitehall Township is a quiet, rural route that seems ordinary during the day. But as night falls, it becomes a stretch of pavement wrapped in fog, shadows, and unsettling legends. The centerpiece of this road is the covered bridge itself, an old wooden structure that has stood for over a century, carrying with it stories of restless spirits and unexplained phenomena. Travelers often speak of the mist that creeps along the bridge, thickening as vehicles approach, reducing visibility to near zero. Within this fog, pale figures have been seen standing or walking along the bridge. Witnesses describe them as almost translucent, with hollow eyes, motionless until you are close enough to make out details, and then suddenly disappearing, leaving only the sound of a faint sigh or the echo of a call. Some say these figures appear to beckon travelers forward, while others warn that looking directly at them invites misfortune. The bridge has long been associated with tragic accidents and mysterious deaths. Folklore tells of travelers lost in the fog who never reached their destination, and locals claim the spirits are those who met untimely ends on the very road they now haunt. Visitors have reported hearing whispers calling their names, faint footsteps on the wooden planks, and even the creaking of phantom horses, though no animal is present. Paranormal investigators who have examined the bridge note unusual electromagnetic readings, temperature drops, and occasional photographic anomalies. Some photographs reveal shadowy forms in the corners, while others capture faint shapes in the mist that seem impossible to account for naturally. Those who linger too long often describe a suffocating feeling, as if the bridge itself is alive, holding them in place with unseen hands. Wrecks-Covered Bridge Road is more than a haunted passage. It is a threshold between the living and the unseen, a place where the fog carries whispers of the past, and the wooden planks remember every tragedy that has occurred upon them. Travelers leave the bridge uneasy, glancing back even after miles have passed, convinced something still watches from the mist. Wrecks-Covered Bridge Road chills with misty figures and spectral calls, but the next road harbors rumors of restless spirits tied to tragic deaths, leyline distortions, and a darkness that follows every traveler long after they leave. Number 6. Buck Hill Falls Road, Pocono Mountains. Winding through the dense forests and rolling hills of the Pocono Mountains, Buck Hill Falls Road is far more than a scenic route. By day, it appears serene, the kind of road that invites leisurely drives and quiet reflection. But by night, it takes on a sinister energy, steeped in local legend and eerie reports that have persisted for decades. Travelers report seeing apparitions along the road, most notably those of maids who once worked in the grand estates and inns that lined this area in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Witnesses describe pale figures in old-fashioned attire, often glimpsed through the trees or disappearing into the woods at the edge of the road. Some appear to be performing household tasks, moving silently as if trapped in an eternal routine, while others seem to float above the ground entirely, gliding along the roadside. The road itself is said to carry strange energy disturbances. Drivers often feel sudden chills, electronic devices malfunction, and even compasses spin without reason. Local folklore suggests that these energies are tied to ley lines beneath the earth, creating pockets where the veil between the living and the dead grows thin. Travelers report hearing whispered conversations, faint footsteps, or the sound of someone climbing into a carriage that isn't there, always just beyond perception. Some have reported encountering shadowy forms that move against the natural contours of the road, appearing briefly in headlights before vanishing. Others speak of hearing a soft, sorrowful voice calling out, begging for help, only to find the road empty when they stop to investigate. Every mile seems to carry traces of history, of lives that ended abruptly, and of spirits unwilling or unable to leave. Paranormal investigators confirm that the area produces anomalous readings on thermometers and electromagnetic devices. Strange mists appear in photographs, while other images capture faint silhouettes that cannot be explained by light or shadow. Buck Hill Falls Road is a reminder that even the most peaceful roads can harbor restless energy, and that the past is never truly buried in the Pocono Mountains. Buck Hill Falls Road chills with apparitions and unexplained energy, but the next road we approach hides a legend of a lady in white, haunting a bend in the forest where travelers often feel they are not alone. Number 7. Devil's Elbow Natural Area Road, Lycoming County. Deep in Lycoming County, winding through dense forest, Devil's Elbow Natural Area Road has earned a reputation for chilling encounters after dark. Known for its sharp bends and shadowed canopy, this road is infamous for the haunting presence of the lady in white. Locals say she appears suddenly along the curve, her long flowing gown glowing faintly in the moonlight, her face pale and sorrowful, her gaze fixed on passing travelers as if pleading for help. Witnesses report that when drivers approach the bend, the air grows unnaturally cold, their headlights flicker, and a thick fog sometimes rises from the forest floor, obscuring the road ahead. The lady in white is said to appear both at the edge of the pavement and in the trees, vanishing the moment you attempt to get a closer look. Some have claimed she steps onto the road itself, causing panic and near misses with their vehicles. Yet when they stop to investigate, the road is empty. The origins of this haunting are steeped in tragedy. Stories suggest she was a young woman who met a sudden death on this bend decades ago, and her spirit continues to wander the forest, trapped in a loop of sorrow. Some locals claim that she appears to warn travelers, while others say her presence portends misfortune for those who see her. In addition to the lady in white, drivers report hearing faint footsteps, whispers, and the rustling of unseen figures moving through the underbrush. Some describe seeing shadowy silhouettes flitting just beyond their vision, and many report an oppressive feeling of being watched. Paranormal investigators note strange electromagnetic readings and sudden drops in temperature along the bend, reinforcing the road's reputation as a hotspot for supernatural activity. Devil's Elbow Natural Area Road is not just a forested curve, it is a place where grief, tragedy, and restless energy converge. Travelers leave with the unsettling feeling that the forest itself is alive, observing every move, every turn, every heartbeat. Devil's Elbow chills with its lady in white and spectral presences, but the next road stretches through twisted trees and cursed lands, where glowing eyes and unnatural shadows greet any who dare drive after dark. Number 8. The Devil's Road, Chad's Ford. In the quiet countryside of Chad's Ford, the Devil's Road winds through a dense forest that seems to stretch endlessly even on maps. By day, it looks like any other rural lane, flanked by gnarled trees and thick underbrush. But at night, it becomes a corridor of fear, where the air carries whispers of curses, and travelers feel the unseen watching from the shadows. Locals have long told stories of glowing eyes that appear suddenly among the trees, staring at drivers or pedestrians before disappearing without a trace. These eyes are said to belong to spirits of those who once died along the road, cursed to remain bound to the twisted path. Some travelers report hearing low, guttural growls, or the faint sound of footsteps following their car through the forest, yet nothing can be seen when they stop or look around. The trees lining the Devil's Road are themselves unsettling. Their twisted, contorted shapes cast long shadows, and many claim the branches seem to reach toward passing vehicles, scraping or tapping as though alive. Fog often rolls in unexpectedly, swallowing headlights and creating an almost otherworldly atmosphere. Within this mist, witnesses report ghostly figures emerging and vanishing in seconds, sometimes appearing as hooded strangers, other times as spectral children, their eyes hollow and pleading. History adds to the dread. The road is rumored to have been cursed centuries ago, a path where tragic events occurred, murders, accidents, and unexplained disappearances. Some say the spirits are restless because their deaths were violent or unjust, while others believe dark rituals performed long ago imbued the road with lingering energy. Paranormal investigators have recorded cold spots, strange electromagnetic fluctuations, and shadowy anomalies in photographs, confirming that the Devil's Road is more than folklore. Travelers often report leaving the road shaken, with the sensation that unseen eyes followed them the entire way. Even those familiar with the path say they never drive it at night alone, and some swear the road changes subtly, twisting in ways that make it impossible to navigate as expected. The Devil's Road terrifies with curses and glowing eyes, but the next route carries its own dark legends, an area where moonlight reveals a witch, her cries echoing across the boulder fields, leaving travelers chilled to the bone. Number 9. Hickory Run Road, Carbon County. Hickory Run Road stretches through the remote wilderness of Carbon County, a quiet route by day that transforms into a realm of fear when night falls. The road is notorious for one haunting legend in particular, the Lehigh Valley Witch. Travelers have reported seeing her under the pale glow of moonlight, a figure draped in shadow, her eyes glowing faintly, her presence sending shivers down the spine of anyone who crosses her path. Witnesses describe the witch as appearing suddenly on the roadside, her movements unnatural, almost floating, her long hair and tattered garments fluttering in a wind that seems to come from nowhere. Some claim she points toward the forest as if warning or directing, while others recount her stepping into the road, forcing vehicles to swerve dangerously to avoid her, only to find the lane empty moments later. Beyond visual encounters, the road carries an oppressive energy. Travelers have felt sudden drops in temperature, heard whispers calling their names, and experienced eerie sensations of being watched from the dense woods that flank the asphalt. At times, strange lights flicker among the trees, moving against the natural contours of the forest, adding to the unnerving feeling that the area itself is alive. Hickory Run Road is steeped in history. Folklore says the witch was once a healer wronged by villagers, whose death left a curse that binds her spirit to the land. Others report sightings of glowing orbs or shadowy figures darting across the road, often accompanied by the sound of distant wailing or faint chanting. Paranormal investigators have noted unusual electromagnetic readings, sudden cold spots, and anomalous photographic evidence, reinforcing the road's reputation as a hotspot for supernatural activity. Travelers who have dared to drive Hickory Run Road at night often leave unsettled, their nerves frayed, certain that the witch or other unseen presences watch their every movement. The road is a stark reminder that some legends are not just stories, they are warnings that linger in the darkness. Hickory Run Road chills with the Lehigh Valley Witch in restless shadows, but the next road carries spirits closer to home, estate grounds where Victorian child apparitions and moving objects haunt those who venture too far after dark. Number 10. Burn Brae Mansion Grounds Road, Forest Bug. Burn Brae Mansion Grounds Road winds quietly through the rural landscape of Forest Bug, Pennsylvania, but it is far from peaceful. The road passes the historic Burn Brae Mansion, an estate notorious for hauntings that have persisted for generations. By day, the road seems calm, bordered by dense trees and rolling fields. By night, however, the estate and its surroundings come alive with stories of restless child spirits and unexplained movement. Travelers have reported seeing the figures of children playing along the roadside, their laughter faint yet chilling, echoing through the trees with no source in sight. Some witnesses describe small, shadowy forms darting across the road, vanishing the moment a car approaches. Others speak of objects moving inside the mansion's windows, toys, furniture, even doors opening and closing as if guided by invisible hands. The mansion itself has a dark history. Former residents recall unexplained accidents, sudden illnesses, and tragic deaths of children, all of which have become part of the estate's eerie legacy. Locals say that these spirits are drawn to the road, extending their presence beyond the mansion grounds to anyone who dares pass at night. The trees seem to bend unnaturally, and shadows linger in the corners of headlights, giving the impression that the forest itself is alive with watching eyes. Paranormal investigators have recorded strange temperature drops, disembodied laughter, and anomalous electromagnetic readings along the road. Photographs occasionally capture small, translucent figures on or near the pavement, and some report feeling gentle but unmistakable touches from unseen hands. Many who traverse Burn Brae Mansion Grounds Road at night leave with an unsettling sense that the children are not simply watching, they are inviting or perhaps daring visitors to linger. Those who dare drive this road after dark are left with more than just a story. They carry a memory of being followed, observed, and almost beckoned by presences that defy logic. Burn Brae Mansion Grounds Road is a reminder that some estates do not stay confined to their walls, and that restless spirits sometimes extend their reach into the very paths travelers take. Burn Brae Mansion Grounds Road chills with spectral children and moving objects, but the next road holds echoes of history, colonial-era apparitions wandering farmland, restless spirits lingering along a forgotten path that carries centuries of unrest. Number 11. Bolton Mansion Grounds Road, Levittown. Bolton Mansion Grounds Road stretches through the quiet countryside of Levittown, Pennsylvania, a road that seems tranquil by day but becomes a corridor of unease after sunset. The path skirts the historic Bolton Mansion, an estate dating back to colonial times, and travelers report that its surrounding farm fields are haunted by apparitions whose origins reach deep into America's past. Witnesses describe seeing ghostly figures dressed in colonial attire, walking purposefully across the fields or standing silently at the roadside. Some are soldiers, rifles slung over their shoulders, frozen in time as though guarding secrets long forgotten. Others appear as farmhands or children, their expressions vacant, their eyes staring past anyone who passes. These figures often vanish when approached, leaving only the rustle of tall grass or the faint echo of footsteps behind. The mansion and its lands have a dark history. Tales speak of disputes, untimely deaths, and families torn apart by tragedy. Some say the spirits are remnants of these events, tied to the land through unresolved sorrow and lingering unrest. Travelers report a feeling of being watched, sudden drops in temperature, and whispers carried on the wind, as if the past itself is speaking through the night. Paranormal investigators who have visited Bolton Mansion Grounds Road have recorded unusual electromagnetic readings, cold spots, and visual anomalies on cameras. Shadowy figures sometimes appear at the edge of headlights, and faint shapes are seen moving across the farm fields, as though retracing centuries-old routines. Some locals warn that lingering too long along the road invites attention from these colonial spirits, who do not appreciate intruders witnessing their timeless vigil. Travelers leave the road with a lingering sense of unease, certain that the farm fields hold secrets beyond the reach of daylight, and that the spirits of Bolton Mansion continue to walk the earth, observing every turn, every step, and every heartbeat of those who dare pass through. Bolton Mansion Grounds Road unsettles with colonial apparitions and restless farmhands, but the next road carries the haunting melodies of ghostly music and the presence of spirits tied to an old luxury estate, echoing across forests and open fields alike. Number 12. Bedford Springs Road, Bedford. Bedford Springs Road winds quietly through the rolling hills surrounding the historic springs of Bedford, Pennsylvania. By day, it is a scenic route, lined with trees and the soft sound of running water from the nearby springs. But as night falls, the road becomes a place where the ordinary fades, replaced by unsettling tales of ghostly music and wandering apparitions that have haunted the area for generations. Travelers report hearing faint melodies drifting across the fields, piano notes and violin strains that seem to come from nowhere. The music is often sorrowful or dissonant, echoing through the air with no apparent source. Some have seen apparitions near the springs, faint, shadowy figures that walk along the road's edge or appear among the trees, vanishing the moment one attempts to approach. Witnesses describe these figures as partially translucent, often dressed in 19th century clothing, gliding silently as if following some unseen rhythm tied to the ghostly music. The springs themselves have a long and eerie history. Once a luxury resort and gathering place for the wealthy, the area witnessed untimely deaths, mysterious illnesses, and tragic accidents that have fueled legends of lingering spirits. Locals speak of travelers who pull over at night, drawn by the music, only to feel an oppressive chill and the sensation of eyes watching from the darkness. Some have reported sudden, unexplained drops in temperature, while others describe hearing whispers that seem to carry from one side of the road to the other, fading as quickly as they arrive. Paranormal investigators visiting Bedford Springs Road have recorded anomalous electromagnetic readings, inexplicable cold spots, and faint audio anomalies resembling soft whispers or distant footsteps. Photographs sometimes reveal shadowy shapes or faint orbs floating near the road and the water, reinforcing the notion that the past here refuses to stay buried. Travelers who drive this road at night often leave with the impression that they are sharing space with something unseen, something patient, and something that carries the echoes of history in every note of music and every silent step along the roadside. Bedford Springs Road is a reminder that some landscapes are alive with memories, and that spirits often linger where life once thrived. Bedford Springs Road haunts with ghostly music and apparitions, but the next road carries the echoes of soldiers and a screaming lady, where riverbanks and fields still whisper of wartime tragedy and restless souls. Number 13. Fort Mifflin Grounds Road, Philadelphia Riverbank. Fort Mifflin Grounds Road runs along the banks of the Delaware River in Philadelphia, a stretch of asphalt bordered by history, shadow, and lingering sorrow. By day, the road offers quiet views of the river and surrounding greenery, but by night it becomes a place steeped in legend, where the echoes of soldiers and a mysterious figure known as the Screaming Lady chill the hearts of travelers. The road skirts Fort Mifflin, a historic site of brutal battles during the Revolutionary War. Those who travel after dark report hearing phantom cannon fire, the clatter of muskets, and the low murmur of soldiers' voices, seemingly carried across the river by an unseen wind. Figures in colonial uniforms have been spotted along the shoreline, marching silently, frozen in time, or disappearing when approached, leaving only the distant echo of their steps. The Screaming Lady is said to be a woman who lost her family during the war, her grief so intense that her spirit still roams the riverbank, wailing into the night. Witnesses describe hearing sudden, piercing screams carried by the wind, or glimpsing a shadowy figure in white running along the fields near the road. Some drivers claim the wails come from nowhere, yet the sound is so vivid it feels as if someone or something is just behind them, watching. The history of Fort Mifflin adds weight to these hauntings. The fort endured sieges, heavy casualties, and countless deaths that left bodies unburied for days, creating a restless energy that still lingers. Travelers along the road frequently report cold spots, strange mists hovering above the ground, and a sensation of being followed, even when no other vehicles or pedestrians are nearby. Paranormal investigators have noted EMF spikes, unexplained noises in audio recordings, and shadowy anomalies captured on camera along both the riverbank and the fields. Fort Mifflin Grounds Road is more than a path beside a historic site. It is a place where history refuses to rest, where the cries of the past intermingle with the wind, and where travelers feel the invisible presence of the fallen. The combination of the Screaming Lady, colonial soldiers, and the river's reflective waters creates an atmosphere of tension, unease, and lingering fear. Fort Mifflin Grounds Road chills with wailing spirits and soldiers, but the next road stretches through the dark woods of Clinton County, where inexplicable phenomena and dancing apparitions have terrified drivers for decades. Number 14. Van St. Crybaby Bridge Road, Bucks County. Van St. Crybaby Bridge Road winds through Bucks County, Pennsylvania, a narrow route flanked by dense woods and overgrown fields. By day, it looks like any country road, but by night it transforms into a corridor of fear, haunted by the infamous Crybaby Bridge, a site long associated with ghostly infant wails and shadowy figures. The bridge itself is an old wooden structure, its planks weathered by time and neglect. Travelers report hearing the sound of crying babies echoing from beneath the bridge, though no living child is ever found. Some claim the wails rise and fall, growing louder as they drive closer, then disappearing abruptly when they reach the center. In some cases, drivers describe seeing dark, humanoid shapes standing on the bridge or along the roadside, vanishing the moment headlights shine upon them. Local legend says the cries originate from a tragic event, centuries ago, though the details vary. Some stories speak of a mother who drowned her infant in the river below. Others tell of babies lost to illness or neglect. Whatever the origin, the spirits are said to remain, bound to the bridge and surrounding woods. Witnesses also report sudden chills, an oppressive feeling of being watched, and fleeting glimpses of shadowy figures crossing the road in the corner of their vision. Paranormal investigators have documented unusual electromagnetic readings, temperature drops, and photographic anomalies at Crybaby Bridge. Many who linger on the bridge at night report hearing footsteps that do not belong to them, or feeling a light tugging sensation at their clothes, as if unseen hands are testing their presence. The combination of the crying sounds, shadow figures, and thick wooded surroundings creates a suffocating atmosphere that unnerves even the bravest travelers. Van St. Crybaby Bridge Road is more than a haunted country route. It is a place where sorrow, tragedy, and lingering spirits converge. Anyone who drives here after dark cannot ignore the sensation that the bridge itself remembers the cries of the past. and that some whales are meant to follow travelers long after they have left. Van Sant Crybaby Bridge Road terrifies with infant cries and shadowy figures, but the final road carries the combined weight of all legends, hauntings, and restless energy we've explored tonight, offering one last encounter that may linger in memory forever. Number 15. Jean Bonnet Tavern Road, Bedford. Jean Bonnet Tavern Road stretches through the rolling hills near Bedford, Pennsylvania, leading travelers to one of the region's oldest and most notorious establishments, the Jean Bonnet Tavern. By day, it is a quiet, scenic route, lined with trees and historic stone walls. By night, however, the road becomes a corridor of dread, haunted by shadows of murdered men, phantom guests, and lingering energy that refuses to rest. The tavern itself dates back to the 18th century and has a long history of intrigue, violence, and tragedy. Witnesses along the road report seeing shadowy figures along the roadside, sometimes resembling patrons in colonial attire, others indistinct silhouettes that seem to follow travelers for miles. The air along the road is heavy with an oppressive presence, and many have described hearing faint laughter, whispered conversations, and clinking glasses where no one is present. Some travelers claim to see apparitions that resemble men who were victims of violent acts in the tavern's early days. These figures often appear near the stone walls or in the tree line, their movements slow, almost gliding as if replaying the final moments of their lives. Others have reported phantom carriages crossing the road, complete with spectral horses, disappearing abruptly before reaching the traveler. The road itself seems to remember centuries of activity. At night, it carries cold spots, flickering shadows, and an uncanny stillness punctuated by sudden, inexplicable sounds, footsteps on gravel, doors slamming, or muffled cries from deep within the forest. Paranormal investigators have recorded electromagnetic anomalies and captured faint apparitions on camera, lending credibility to the stories passed down through generations. Travelers driving Jean Bonnet Tavern Road after dark often report a lingering sense of being followed, watched, or even subtly guided toward the tavern. Some claim that the spirits here are curious, others insist they are warning, but all agree that the road feels alive with the echoes of history, tragedy, and lingering souls. Jean Bonnet Tavern Road is the final passage on this tour of Pennsylvania's most haunted roads. Shadows of the past merge with ghostly energy, leaving a memory that lingers long after the car has passed. Maybe one day you'll find yourself driving these roads in the dark. And when you do, remember, some presences are not just stories, they are waiting, watching, and listening. You've traveled the twists, turns, and shadowed paths of Pennsylvania's most haunted roads. From the mist-shrouded Rex-covered bridge to the spectral cries of Crybaby Bridge, each mile carried stories of restless spirits, unexplained sounds, and shadows that refuse to disappear. Every road we explored tonight has one thing in common: they are reminders that history never truly sleeps, and that some tragedies leave their mark not only on the land, but on the very air we breathe. If you felt chills along the bends of Hickory Run, or caught a glimpse of the lady in white on Devil's Elbow, then you know that these roads are more than just asphalt and gravel. They are corridors of memory, grief, and lingering energy, places where the past bleeds into the present. These aren't mere stories, they are encounters that have been felt, recorded, and passed down through generations, waiting for the next traveler bold enough or unlucky enough to cross their paths. Perhaps you drive by these roads in daylight without a thought. But at night, when the wind rustles the trees, when the fog creeps over the pavement, when a sudden chill freezes your skin, remember the tales we shared tonight. The glowing eyes, the crying infants, the shadowy soldiers, the whispers from nowhere, they're all still here. They watch, they wait, and they remember every passing soul. If you think you could dare to drive these haunted roads alone, remember, some legends aren't stories to be doubted, they are warnings. Some presences are patient, persistent, and silent observers. And maybe, just maybe, if you find yourself on one of these paths, you'll hear the footsteps behind you, the whispers in the wind, or the faint laughter of a ghost long gone but unwilling to leave. So, if you survive this tour of Pennsylvania's darkest, most haunted roads, subscribe to join the next journey into the shadows. Like the video if your heart raced at least once tonight. Share it with someone brave enough to follow you down these haunted paths. But most importantly, remember, the roads don't forget. The roads never forgive. And some spirits are still waiting for their next witness. Stay aware, stay cautious, and never drive alone in the dark. Because out there, the legends are real. And on these roads, the dead are always watching.